This is Twit.
This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Gazelle, the fast and simple way to sell your used gadgets. Find out what your used iPhone, iPad, and other Apple products are worth at Gazelle.com. Hello everyone and welcome to iFive for the iPhone, episode 122. iFive covers the latest iPhone apps and tips and tricks, and of course news when it's applicable, which it is today. I'm Sarah Lane and let's jump right in. Number 1. So, how often do you use Apple Pay? You know, it's only been around a couple months. Use it once a week? More? Less? I'd say I probably use it once every couple of weeks at the grocery store that I go to. Works great. But I wouldn't say it's exactly replaced my wallet. Ways to go. However, Apple announced yesterday that the company had signed up dozens more banks and retail stores and even startups from its initial rollout to adopt Apple Pay and buy things with nothing but their iPhones. So with the new partners, Apple says that it supports the cards that represent almost all of the credit card purchase volume in the entire United States, 90% to be exact. Now, office retail chain Staples now accepts Apple Pay in 1,400 of its U.S. stores. Supermarkets like Winn-Dixie and Albertsons take it too. Now, Whole Foods, which is the grocery store that I go to, has accepted Apple Pay since it launched in October and said that it processed over 150,000 Apple Pay transactions soon after that initial launch. So there's obviously a lot of interest. McDonald's says that Apple Pay made up 50% of its total tap-to-pay transactions in the month of November. So yeah, we are in the early days, and Apple Pay still is really just a tiny part of overall credit card transactions, but it's clearly growing in the right direction. And I have to admit, even though I use Apple Pay at the grocery store, I'm still always bringing my wallet too. It's a backup, just in case. I think it's going to take some time, not just for me, but a lot of people to think of Apple Pay as my option at my regular store and to trust that the system will always work. Number 2, speaking of Apple Pay, what's one service that's been around for years and uses NFC just like Apple Pay? Well, if you said Google Wallet, that's where I'm going to. In fact, it's a common reminder that I get from my Android friends. Sarah, we've had NFC payments for years. Which is true, although I would probably argue that Apple has done a very good job, as it often does, of bringing existing technology to the masses, to the mainstream, and then letting everybody believe that Apple invented the whole thing. Now anyway, Apple Pay has actually been really good for Google Wallet, which has seen an uptick in its own usage just because people are becoming more and more aware of how this whole payment thing works. Google Wallet user numbers have actually doubled since Apple Pay launched. In fact, Google Wallet's iOS app got updated this week. It now supports Touch ID. It's now also optimized for the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, finally, and it lets you split bills between you and your friends. Let's say you all go out to brunch, something like that. Now, Touch ID in Google Wallet is only going to log you into the app. Apple still doesn't allow any third-party apps, Google or anybody, to access the NFC chip that's inside the iPhone. But it's a good step in the right direction. For now, until Google Wallet gets too powerful, and then Apple finds a way to kick it out of the App Store. I don't know, I'm just wondering. Number 3, we got an email from Tom, hello Tom, who wants to know what made an impression on me over the past year of the many apps that were released and that I tried out. Tom writes, Sarah, you test and look at hundreds of apps. What are your 5 favorite apps that were new to you in 2014 that have earned the right to stay on your iPhone long term? Mine include Inbox, Overcast, Buddhify 2, VoiceStream, and Deliveries. You know, I don't actually recognize all of those, so actually you gave me some pointers, Tom. It's really hard for me to pick 5 because I do download so many, so I feel like my regular app habits are just off the rails. So I don't know if I could give you a top 5, but you do mention Buddhify 2, which just happens to be an app that Leo and I covered in a roundup of meditation apps on this week's iPad Today, which was a very good episode, by the way. So why not? Let's look at Buddhify 2, which is $2.99 in the App Store. The idea is we all have stress triggers or emotional triggers in our lives, and practicing what's known as mindfulness or Meditation is a popular way to keep control of things like sleep problems or work issues, stuff that adds up. Buddhify comes with 11 hours of custom meditations for 15 different parts of your day that are like traveling or time you spend on the internet. Maybe you're taking a break. Maybe you want to go to bed and you want to stay asleep.
This meditation is best listened to through the speaker, and recognizing that after it's finished, you're not going to use your phone again.
You have guided audio tracks for 14 different categories that you can choose depending on where you are and how much time you have. And the little design wheel is just kind of fun to navigate. So if I choose feeling stressed, for example, I can then swipe on any of my audio options, see how long they are, and get a little description before I commit. Now, once you get started, you've got a countdown. You can go back or skip ahead like a regular audio track. Solo meditation is just a 10-minute counter for your own quiet time that you can monitor. And then you can review stats and rate your progress as you use the app. The Together tab is where other people in the community ask questions that you might find helpful. Now, I know that some people think, oh, meditation app, that's not for me, it's a little too new agey. But I do think it's good to have something like Buddhify 2 on hand. You know, maybe you're having a bad day, you need to take a walk around the block and just kind of, you know, get some serenity. It's also not the only option you have in the App Store that's in that meditation category, but I prefer the flat $2.99 fee. Some of the others have in-app purchases, and they'll add up. This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Gazelle. New from Gazelle, you can buy certified pre-owned iPhones, Samsung Galaxy phones, and iPads directly from Gazelle. So if you've lost or broken your phone, a certified pre-owned device is a really great way to buy a replacement device that doesn't cost a lot of money. Gazelle still offers great deals on trade-ins for your old devices. Of course, that's what Gazelle does really well. Now it just does more. Visit Gazelle.com and see what devices are available from Gazelle in certified pre-owned condition. Benefits of buying these certified pre-owned devices from Gazelle is that devices are available in two conditions, certified like new and certified good. Now, of course, the certified good devices might show some gentle signs of wear, but nothing crazy, and also you can save a little extra money on a great device at a great price. All devices have been put through a rigorous 30-point inspection to ensure that they're fully functional, and the pre-owned devices are backed by a 30-day risk-free return policy. Now, of course, if you're trading something into Gazelle, you get paid in cash for your device. Payment is fast. It is also risk-free. Gazelle will also wipe your data for free. And it's just really trustworthy. The company has paid almost $175 million to over 1 million customers. So what is your iPhone worth anyway, or other device for that matter? Take a minute and go to Gazelle.com, Gazelle, and find out and get that money. Number 4, so everybody's favorite photo sharing social network, Instagram. Well, maybe it's not yours, but pretty much everybody now that the app has 300 million active users. Instagram got a nice update this week that includes 5 new photo filters and a whole new look. Now, the new filters are called Slumber, Crema, Ludwig, Aiden, and Perpetua, and they are quite lovely. In fact, Instagram says now that the camera phones in general are better, these are apps that specifically take advantage of better quality. Now, of the filters that you could already choose from, there's probably 1 or 2 that you never ever used, right? You can now rearrange your filters and even hide certain filters that you just never even want to see anymore because they're getting in the way. They won't actually get deleted either. You can add them back later. What Instagram didn't mention in the developer notes, and they should have because it's cool, is that the app also includes the ability to upload slow motion videos that, of course, you can take on your iPhone, newer iPhones anyway, directly into the app. If you've ever tried to do this before in the past, Instagram used to strip the slow-mo out, and then you'd have to like email it to yourself, and then it would get all, anyway, it sucked. Photo comments now update in real time too, so you don't need to refresh your screen to see them. Not that you're sitting there waiting to see the comments on your latest photo or anything. You're not that vain. Of course not. Finally, number 5. We got an email from Cody, who lives in Ontario, Canada, who wants to fix our crappy vertical videos. You know what happens? You're just not thinking about it. You take a video like this, and then you upload it somewhere, and you get the black bars. Very Bush League. You know how it goes, though, right? You know this, right? So you start recording with your phone in portrait mode, and then you realize, oh, crap, I don't want that side crop, and then you rotate your phone. This literally happened to me a couple nights ago when I was recording my friend playing guitar for his daughter. It was a very lovely moment. So here's Cody's fix, which involves iMovie. Simply open up a new project with a video, then make a 90-degree rotation gesture on the video itself in the editing window, and iMovie rotates the video. No cropping necessary. Then trim the vertical portion of the video out, save it back to your photo library, and you've fixed your video. Now, I actually had to email back and forth with Corey a little bit because at first I wasn't sure what he was talking about, because obviously if you shot the whole thing at portrait mode, iMovie won't be able to save you. You can't make a video widescreen without zooming way in and recropping, and that would look totally weird, right? But he's describing a fix for exactly what I did the other night. For those of us who realize a few seconds in what we've done wrong, and then we rotate our iPhones mid-video, now we at least have a quick solution to turn our landscape mode video upright, which is the format we want anyway. Thanks, Corey. And that does it for this episode of iFive. Thanks, everybody, for being here with me. Of course, all of the apps and links and other information from this show and every other episode of iFive is at twit.tv/iFive. You can email ideas and questions and feedback to us at iFive@twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 614-ON-iFive, or you could just hang out and hopefully you learned something. I'm Sarah Lane, and we'll see you next week on iFive for the iPhone.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.